I don't know if I had a bad guy in front of me go, Todd, that I'd be overly scared. You bare your fangs at me, right? Like a rabid dog. Shoot.
Welcome to WatchMojo's Poppin the Culture, your weekly entertainment destination. And me, well, I'm your host with the most mojo, of course. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood, Matt Demers. Another great episode coming your way. He's back. That's right, the Todd-Father himself, Todd McFarlane, will join me to chat all about Venom and so much more. Stick around for that. But first, let's jump headfirst into those Hollywood headlines. All right, as we do each and every episode, we start things off with a little bit of a dissection of some of the more interesting developments out there in Hollywood. And I always need help doing it. And today I've got the WatchMojo Lady herself. It's Rebecca Brayton. Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Even better now that you're here, because we're going to kick things off with a subject that I know that's near and dear to your heart. Old Spidey, Spider-Man. Now, before I get you to chime in, I mean, we're dealing with Spider-Man overload at the moment. Spider-Mania.
Isn't it great?
So, I mean, hey, if you're a Spider-Man fan, Christmas has come early. So obviously the big movie's coming out very, very shortly. That being Spider-Man No Way Home. By the way, it broke records for the advanced ticket sales, crashed all kinds of sites. So there is a lot of anticipation there. But the other news I want you to help me chime in on is Tom Holland, your BFF. He is now signed on for 3 new movies as Spider-Man. So he's not going anywhere, which is great because sometimes, well, they kick those actors out and they like to do that old reboot. So he's sticking around for 3 more movies in the MCU. And the other bit of Spider-Man news, if this there wasn't enough to get excited about, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 1 delivered a first look. So this is the sequel to that animated movie that, it actually won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. So a lot
deservedly
going on.
So.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So first off, I think I know the answer, but too much Spider-Man at the moment?
No. And okay, I was the first person when before Homecoming to be like, are they really doing another Spider-Man franchise? But they are now doing it in such a way that they're both different enough and very much their own thing and great in their own ways that I think having these 2 kind of simultaneous franchises going at the same time, which is what simultaneous means, it's just great. It's just especially, even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, because you can find something that you love in either franchise.
You're absolutely right. And I was kind of on your boat too with the whole animated, and I knew it was going to be Miles Morales' character. I'm like, is that going to confuse people? But now seeing it, it's like, no, bring me more. And this movie, Rebecca, the animated one I'm talking about, we're introducing Spider-Man 2099. I mean, he showed up at the end of the last film, so now it looks like he's going to get the star treatment. And I'm a fan of him from the comics. But I mean, there's a lot of Spider-Man iterations out there.
Yes, there are. I am, okay, here, hot take. What if they bring some of the animated Spider-Man into the multiverse in No Way Home? That's what I was like, what? Why wouldn't they? Why couldn't they? They could.
They totally could. I have my fingers crossed for Spider-Ham.
I know. Don't we all?
So silly, but I love him. It's John Mulaney who does the voice there, and Tom Holland's not going anywhere. That's hey, listen, I'm excited about that. I think he's probably the best Spider-Man. He said, I don't think he'll do any more after this 3, because he said, if I'm playing Spider-Man by the time I'm 30, something's wrong, because Spider-Man's notorious.
Yeah. Okay. Can we do the age? How old was Toby?
Yeah,
he was 29 in 2, I think.
That's true.
So.
Okay, Holland, you could pull it off.
Plus, I think he could pull it off. But if he didn't want to, that's his prerogative. He's got other things to fish to fry and walls to scale.
What's the animated movie that came out? Dear Evan Hansen. Did you see this?
Oh my God, I didn't see it.
So Ben Platt played a teen, but he looked like. You ever see the meme with Buscemi and he's, hey kids, how's it going? That was him in this whole movie.
How you do, fellow kids? Yeah, that's from 30 Rock. Okay, to be fair to Ben Platt, he originated the role on Broadway, and I think
Yes,
he
he
was the
did.
right person to do it. They probably just should have made the movie a little bit sooner, or they could have used some like de-aging. Anyway, I will not go too far into that. I think Tom Holland could play a teenager for a while.
He does. He definitely has the baby face. Definitely has the baby face. So yeah.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And by the way, well, I'm sure we'll talk all about the movie when it comes out and all the surprises. I mean, there better be the cameos that we're expecting, or else there might be riots in cinemas if Garfield and Toby don't show up.
I am concerned that what will happen.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you had some insider knowledge saying.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on.
Although, have you seen that thing? I think it was a TikTok, and somebody posted when they were buying their tickets, it had the cast list, and it listed Tom Holland twice, which I thought was interesting, and Toby and
But
Andrew.
it said the others.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good news. There you go. Oh, but someone's going to get in trouble for
Is
that.
it to be believed? Someone's getting fired. Or it's fake.
Yeah, anything on the internet now is you could just fake it all. You could fake it all. I'm an AI right now, so.
Everybody thinks I'm a robot.
Home Alone. That's what I want to get to next. Home Alone has their house from the movie is now available to rent as an Airbnb. I love this idea, and I would totally do it. I mean, before I get into some other properties that I think could go this route, would you spend a night in the Home Alone house?
No question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would you do? Would you jump on the bed?
I would jump on the bed. I would have mac and cheese. I would jump on the bed. I would toboggan out the door.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Set booby traps. What's fun about this and what made me laugh out loud is that not only do you get to spend the night in this Home Alone house with this Airbnb, you spend the money, but you also get greeted by the actor that played Buzz.
Oh my gosh.
He will be there to be like, welcome to the house. I don't know what else he'll do, but yeah, he said that
Is that a joke?
No, Devin.
No, you're being serious. Rattray, yeah.
Devin Rattray. He is part of this deal. He must be getting some of the money, but
that's like an extreme cameo.
I mean, what else has he got going on? We love you, Buzz. We love you, Ray. Okay, okay. I have a few houses from pop culture that I would love to stay in. Do you have any before I get to mine?
I would stay in the firehouse from Ghostbusters.
Oh, good one. Good one. Yeah.
I would love to stay in maybe Doc Brown's mansion that burned down but didn't burn down. It's like a real fancy mansion. It actually might have burned down in real life. I forget. The house from Clue, which actually did burn down. A lot of burning. Anyway,
yeah, you're picking a lot of rubble places. That wouldn't be fun to stay in.
Why don't you take your turn?
Well, I want your opinion. Sticking with the Christmas theme, the Christmas Vacation house from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We have the big tree in there. What do you mean? That'd be fun.
Sure.
I just like that movie. The Addams Family Mansion.
Ooh, does it have like the what is it? The Rube Goldberg machine, or is that? Am I thinking of Casper, or is there like a Rube Goldberg machine into a basement or something?
There's a whole thing that gets you into a basement in Addams
Family. Okay.
Yeah, so you're thinking of the right movie, yeah.
Okay.
From the 90s films. I think that would be a fun one to stay, especially during Halloween time. And especially during Halloween time, maybe the Beetlejuice mansion. Basically, I want to stay in a haunted mansion, is what I'm getting.
I guess so.
Or like, if they can kind of recreate sitcom apartments, because I know they're not real, they're sets, but if they can recreate the Seinfeld apartment, I would spend an immense amount of money to stay there. Or Friends, too. Those would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, that would be huge. Literally.
Yeah. I would love it. Okay, before we go into our next segment, holidays are upon us. Last episode, I had Phoebe chime in with some holiday movie and could be TV show specials, by the way. So basically, we're recommending stuff for folks to check out there. Some of our favorites. Rebecca, you can't say. By the way, what was
I know what I can't say.
She can't say. You can't say Home Alone because she said it, and she also just said Claus, which was an animated. I already did.
I think it's Klaus.
Klaus. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you seen that?
I haven't either. No, but I hear it's good. Yeah.
That's what she said. Okay, so you go ahead with yours.
All right, how much time you got? I have a spreadsheet with all the Christmas movies that I make a point of watching. Okay, so
Is it laminated?
it is not. If you could laminate a spreadsheet, it would be laminated. White Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas in Connecticut is a screwball comedy from the 40s. What else? The Family Man starring Nicolas Cage.
Wait, pause there for a secsecond. The Family Man starring Nicolas Cage, is that with who plays
Leone,
Leone?
Jeremy
Yes.
Piven, Don Cheadle.
Okay, this is bringing back lots of memories. Okay, maybe I'll revisit that one because I do kind of remember liking it.
The Holiday, Love Actually. I have so many. Obviously The Grinch, Charlie Brown, and I'm talking 1966 Grinch.
Yeah. Oh, not the Jim Carrey Grinch.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I think I'm a bit old for like it wasn't my childhood, so
No, yeah, you're right.
I watch it, so don't get me wrong.
The Benedict Cumberbatch animated where he voiced it. That's not bad, actually.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I think it's not going to ruin your childhood, which was kind of what I was worried about.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme yesterday where they said Chris Pratt will be voicing the Grinch?
Okay.
It was a joke.
He'll voice everything.
Yeah.
At this point. So you like your rom-com holiday movies with some of these, The Holiday,
Yeah, I guess so.
Love Actually. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a pattern there.
I hadn't noticed, but I think you're right, actually.
All right.
'Cause they,
I'll throw out an alternative because everyone says, "Oh, those are the."
Oh,
the
Die
classic.
Hard.
Yeah.
I've already watched Die Hard. That was the first one.
Yeah, of course. Last week I said Eyes Wide Shut, which is a Christmas movie, guys. Yes, a Stanley Kubrick. We know there's an orgy in there. Don't worry about it. It's a Christmas movie, not for kids. I'm going to also throw out Gremlins. People think Gremlins is more of a Halloween movie, but no, it's totally a Christmas movie. He gets that little guy as a Christmas present. There's lots of Christmas imagery in there. It's really fun. There you go.
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
Yes. Oh man, I that's one that I usually watch every Christmas only because I find it on TV, and I'm always reminded about how Christmassy it is. Especially at the beginning, there's a Christmas tree lighting and bats fly out of it, lots of snow, and you're right. Oh man, I'm totally gonna watch that tonight. Thanks, Rebecca.
No worries.
All right, don't go anywhere because me and you, Rebecca, we're about to go beyond the list. All right, Rebecca, here's where we dig deep in the vast archives of WatchMojo. We pluck out an old top 10 list, and we like to go beyond that list with our own personal takes and opinions, try to figure out if WatchMojo got it right or wrong. A lot of these movies came out a while
We never
ago.
get it wrong.
They never get it. Who are we kidding, guys? They never get it wrong. But sometimes we can add a little flavor, contemporary flavor, if there was an older list. Today, it's top 10 movie cash grabs. Now, I was just saying to you off camera that I love movies, but I also really love bad movies. I love revisiting terrible movies. Not so
I
much
thought you were going to say, but I also love cash.
I do love cash. I love cash and bad movies. My favorite things. No, it fascinates me that, because listen, to make a movie, Rebecca, it costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. So many people, and some of the stuff you see out there, you're like, oh wow, they made that? Like, why? And the answer to this list is to try to milk the cow. Sometimes they're pretty blatant, and that's what we're going to get today. So we'll go through it. You tell me if you've seen it or not, or your initial thoughts on it. Number 10's a little topical because it's Home Alone sequels, okay? Now, the reason I say it's topical is because this year we had a Home Alone sequel, another one to the list, Home Sweet Home Alone on Disney+. Did you see this?
I haven't seen it yet, and I should because it was
No.
filmed near me.
Oh, really? In Montreal?
Yeah.
They filmed this one?
They filmed in the West Island, actually.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's not good. It's not good. So that's what they're saying about all the other ones. So I think this list is going through any one that takes place after Lost in New York.
Yeah, Lost in. I was gonna say, do not come for my Lost in New York.
No, it's not. I actually kind of prefer that one. The New York centered one.
I don't know if I want to say I prefer it. because I will say it is a retread of the first one, but I love Tim Curry so much.
I was gonna say the hotel stuff is so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you. I love it so much.
No, it's so fun. So fun. And there's even a former president that makes a cameo in that one. So interesting stuff. Okay, Home Alone sequels. Yeah, stop making them, folks. Just stop. I mean, they tried. Have you seen any of the other ones? There was one with...
I haven't.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I think...
It feels like they're movies that they then were like, hey, we could make this a Home Alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they wrote a script and then they were like, oh, let's slap this title on.
You're right. You're absolutely right. For one of them in particular, I think it's Home Alone 3 that it feels exactly like that. Some of them...
Is it like there's a spy situation or something? Or
Yeah. And Scarlett Johansson is in that one. I think that might have been actually her first movie.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's not so good. Not so good. So skip over all those. Just stick with your Macaulay Culkin classics. But yeah, definitely a cash grab. Let's see who is worse than that. Number 9. I actually didn't see this one. Caddyshack 2. I mean, I really enjoyed that first Caddyshack. I don't see what more they could have done with it.
Is it Follow the Gopher?
I was gonna, yeah. According to this little description, there's a lot of talking gopher this time. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about it. Is like who's in it?
Well, that's the other thing that I just saw here is that Rodney Dangerfield, who was a big part of the first one, he's not in this one. So I think that's a lot, and I think we'll see that a lot is when you get these sequels or prequels or where they're trying to milk the cow. A lot of the original cast members aren't in it, and it's like, what's the point? What's the point? There's one in particular that I won't comment on now because
I know what it is. Mm-hmm. I know what it is. Does it involve someone you've interviewed on this podcast?
Yes.
I knew it.
We'll wait for it. If it's not on here, then WatchMojo. You definitely got it wrong. Number 8 is the American Pie Presents series. Yes. Okay. So, do you know about this?
I do. And Eugene Levy is in all of them, I think.
He did. Yeah, he did do all of them, but they focus on like Stifler's younger brother. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely cash grab. That's definitely cash grab material.
It's like the frat boy equivalent of Hallmark movies, though. Like, who's it hurting? I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it, but
there's so many.
I remember don't make me watch it.
There's like 5, and they never go to theaters, by the way. They're like direct to video. So, yeah. Because I don't mind the American Pie films, by the way. The ones that the original, I guess the original cast. I don't mind them.
No, of course not. They're great. They are of their time, but they're good.
I still think they could probably pump out another one and still be. The cast dynamic. I care about these characters. I don't know what.
Yeah, but they're like 50 now.
Yeah, I know. The last one was about. Was it American reunion? There was one about a wedding. You could have babies involved. Actually, I think there was babies in the last one.
Wouldn't that just be grown-ups?
Yeah, there you go. It's already happened. All right, number 7. Ooh, I don't know if I agree with this. Hot take here from WatchMojo. The Hobbit trilogy was a cash grab. Oh, WatchMojo.
No, you know what the cash grab is? And I'm pretty sure this is what we said in the script. The cash grab is making it 3 movies.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it says. Yeah, no, you're right. They milked it. They milked it for as many movies as they can. And remember that being a kind of a big trend too with movies like The Hunger Games. Remember, it was like.
Yeah, but at least each of those was based on a book. The Hobbit is based on one short book, like all 3 movies. So
it super stretch.
Really is a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But again, The Hobbit wasn't as celebrated as The Lord of the Rings by a long shot, right?
The movies?
Yeah, the movies.
No, they were not.
Yeah, so I guess some people might agree with that. But yeah, if you're going to stretch out a short story into 3 movies, and by the way, they're not short movies, right? Anything with Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson is incapable. I started watching Get Back, by the way. So it's really
He doesn't own an editing machine, I don't think. I think he doesn't believe in it. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Number 6 is interesting here too, because I do remember seeing this and I remember rolling my eyes and I never watched it. I'm curious if you saw S. Darko, a Donnie Darko tale, 2009. It came out in the Donnie Darko franchise. Do we need a sequel?
I mean, no. So, okay, I didn't see it. But I feel like that's the kind of movie that should maintain its mystery. And any further movies in the franchise can only take away from that, presumably.
Yeah. So no Jake Gyllenhaal, of course. Critics hated it, and the audience score. You know, it's bad when the audience score is
Yes.
really bad too, because fans of genres tend to be generous, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least not in this one. Not in this one.
What's the audience score?
It just says it was really low. So yeah.
Do you want me to Google
Do a Google.
Okay,
while
wait.
I'll tee
Hey
up.
Siri,
Oh,
what is the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes of S. Darko? 13.
yeah. See, there you go. That's worse than I thought. Worse than I thought. Speaking of worse than I thought, I think a lot of people were cringing in their seats when they saw Jaws: The Revenge in 1987.
Oh my God.
That would be number 5. This is where the shark
Takes this revenge.
and specifically targets. Yeah, the shark itself knows who's
Brody
responsible. Family. Yeah, and I mean, come on.
Is that, I don't know sharks. Okay. Is that outrageous? I don't know.
I don't know the inner workings of sharks either. And what happens?
Let's have a marine biologist write in. Leave a comment down below.
All you need to know is Rotten Tomatoes gave it a rating of 0, and it is, it's definitely the worst of the Jaws franchise. I don't think there's been any others.
What about Jaws 19? It's Back to the Future 2 joke for those of you paying attention.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, that's a definite cash grab. So what could be worse than that, folks? All right, we're getting close. Number 4, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Yes.
I knew that was going to be on here.
I saw it in theaters, and it would totally kind of dismissed everything that made the first one great, right? Gone was like the shaky cam footage. Gone was kind of that, I don't know. They made it kind of just your run-of-the-mill horror movie.
Well, for me, it's kind of the same thing as the Donnie Darko sequel. It is removing that mystery element from the first one that made it so popular.
And just slapping that title on, right?
Yeah.
Blair Witch, Book of Shadows. Yeah, no, for sure. Was against that one. They tried to redo it, by the way, the Blair Witch, a couple of years back. Did you see that one?
No.
Not terrible, but again, it failed because we don't need to do that again, and you're right, it ruins some of that mystery.
Sometimes there's just like a magic in the low budget that makes it work, and when you try to like give it a big budget, that's just not what it's for. That's just not what it's about. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You end up losing more money.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. The one I think that you were talking about, that I was thinking of, Son of the Mask. 2005. That lands at number 3. Now I'm interested to see what clocks in at 2 and 1. Yeah, you're right. Jamie Kennedy. Poor Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, I did talk to him on this program. If you want to watch that interview, I think it's in episode 3. And Jamie said, he got a lot of backlash for this movie because, I mean, this is Jim Carrey's property, right? We all love The Mask with Jim Carrey. They decided to go against it. I think Jamie Kennedy, in his defense, I don't know if you can really defend this movie, but he thought it was going to be something way different than what the studio kind of molded it into, right? It was more about the baby. It was more about the dog. It was so kiddie. It was so over the top, and it was just not good all the way around.
I mean, I don't know. Like,
why do it?
You have to look
at
what. Well, that's it. I was just gonna say, like, what you have to look at these sequels and decide what made the original so popular. And
Jim Carrey.
It has to be Jim Carrey there. And if you don't have Jim Carrey, it's just a different movie. No disrespect to Jamie Kennedy. He's great in Screams, the Screams that he's in. So I just and the CGI.
Yeah, and they made it like I remember I was working, and I think I told this in the interview. I was working in a movie theater when this came out, and I remember being like, "Oh my God, there's a Mask 2?" And I remember it was like dead. Like the evening showings were like dead, like 3 people coming out. I'm like, what's going on in there? But during the day, it was like packed with families, right? So I think I don't know. The demographic was off. The whole
It's
thing
like
just
super babies or super geniuses or baby geniuses or whatever those movies are called.
yeah. So for those that were fans of the first one, it kind of just slapped them in the face. Said, no, we're going for kids. It didn't work out. Oh, number 2, man, we are sticking with the Jim Carreys. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. So this is the prequel. So some people might be thinking that Dumb and Dumber did do a sequel with Jim Carrey.
I believe this list came out before that sequel, though.
You're right.
If I'm not mistaken.
You're absolutely right. Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey were not in this one. In fact, we had two actors that were pretty much doing an impression of them. And I remember the guy that did the Jim Carrey was pretty good at playing a Jim Carrey, but it's like you're watching we don't need this 2 hours.
It's like karaoke instead of a concert.
Yeah, no, it really was. It really was. And it was painfully unfunny. I remember the jokes were not funny. Bob Saget has a cameo in here. It just didn't work on so many levels. Dumb and Dumberer.
There was a line in this script, if I'm remembering correctly, and it was, if this list has taught us anything, is that you can't make a Jim Carrey sequel without Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the thing. Sometimes you can have the actor be involved in maybe a producing role or behind the scenes, but when they're not involved in anything, then that's problematic for the audience watching it. It'll take a lot to surprise us.
I can't wait to see what number 1 is.
All right, so we got some honorable mentions. I like when there's honorable mentions because then we can see what didn't make the list, but deserves mentions. American Psycho 2. Oh my God, yes.
Mila Kunis.
Oh my God, yes. Why? Never saw it, but I remember seeing it advertised and promoted. I think this was direct to video as well. Man, I had no idea this even came out. Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son. Big Mama's House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Teen Wolf 2.
Oh, Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Not good.
I will tell you, though, I haven't seen it. It can't be that bad. I mean, Jason Bateman's a good actor.
It was. I forgot what he was on talking about it. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. And he didn't want to do it. And I remember in the interview he was talking about how, like, this would be a good career move for you. To do something like this, and it turned out to be the worst career movie ever made.
Oh well, but
he's bounced back. I don't feel too bad for him, and I love him, by the way.
Yeah.
Sex and the City 2, cash grab.
Okay. I would like you to come to my TED Talk right now about Sex and the City 2.
And just like that, she started talking.
Yeah, I think this movie is a cash grab, but. Well, I don't know about cash grab because it must have been really expensive to make. Like, really expensive. They would go to Abu Dhabi, the costumes. Yes. They had to get Kim Cattrall back. That must have been expensive.
And weren't they riding camels at one point? Like,
yeah, it's like, it's borderline offensive in spots. But I will not, if this movie is on television, I have to watch it.
You know what that's called? That's called the guilty pleasure. That's called the guilty.
Yeah, I am guilty about this. I don't really believe in guilty pleasures, as I've said many times before, because I'm just like what you like. But this is a guilty pleasure.
I think this might fall into it. Yeah, and we're getting the new show.
Yeah, I'll watch it. The new show.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be watching it. Not Kim Cattrall though. Basic Instinct 2. I do remember this too. Why would they do this? Also, all these years later.
But she's back.
Yeah, 2006. Risk Addiction. What a terrible sub name that is.
Fun to say.
Yeah. Basic Instinct 2. I remember that being terrible. All right, here we go. Number 1. Of course it is. Of course it's a Jim Carrey movie.
I knew it.
God, I don't even want to talk about this movie because it's...
Oh, is it Ace Ventura Jr.?
Yes, it is. Pet Detective. Ace Ventura Jr., 2009. Man, they had a kid
Yeah.
dress as Jim Carrey with the hair.
I
and the
knew
whole
there had to be
thing.
another Jim Carrey on here for that line.
Yeah, no, and I don't think I've ever seen it in full. I've seen clips probably through WatchMojo lists, just like this one, where I would just scratch my head and say no, and anytime it came up, it left a little. I kind of threw up a little in my mouth. Ace Ventura Jr. And I think me and you talked about this, that they are thinking of doing a new Ace Ventura with Jim Carrey. Oh no, it was with what's his face from WandaVision?
Evan Peters?
Evan Peters, yeah, as the Jim Carrey.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, give it. I'm willing to. Okay. Words. Evan Peters was great on WandaVision. He was really good on Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah.
I am willing to see what he does with the role because I trust him.
Yeah,
and
I
don't
think
he would. Because I think he's on a career up, so I don't think he would do anything stupid.
Yeah, no, and I think Jim Carrey. Would you like to see Jim Carrey come back in any of these movies, or is that sad at this point?
I could see him doing an Ace Ventura. I don't think that would be too weird.
No. Was it sad seeing the Ghostbusters cameo
no.
in the recent?
I mean, sad. It's sad that
there's
for me it was sad that Egon's dead. Like
yeah,
actually.
they did it too late, guys.
Yeah,
way too late.
I don't think I was sad. I don't think that's the right term. I mean, I was glad that they gave their blessing, and I know they were in the 2016 one too, mostly, but no. Why did you think it was sad?
No, some people say it's sad that they should just move on, right? They're hanging on to the past, but I don't see that at all, especially in today's environment, which is all about nostalgia.
Yeah, and giving the fans what they want. And I think that's there's a lot of that in that movie, which is good, and I respect that because
Amen.
I think there are a lot of people who make things and then don't respect their fans and why they like the thing, and then don't want to do it again.
That is every movie that we just talked about.
Probably.
All these cash grabs did not respect the fans and just wanted to cash a check. Didn't work. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us once again on Poppin the Culture.
No worries, lots of fun.
All right, everybody, it is now time for our Mojo Chat of the week. The movie is Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and boy, do I love Venom, and boy, do I love my guest today. He is the co-creator of that character, the Todd-Father. Mr. Todd McFarlane is here. Hey, Todd, how are you?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic, and I'm uber excited to chat with you, especially about this character. Obviously the movies from Sony are through the roof. People are watching these things like crazy. I want you to kind of take me back. I mean, this character, and correct me if I'm wrong, early 80s, mid 80s when this was created?
Yeah, late 80s, just about 88, 89. Yep.
So you and a writer were tasked with creating this character. Now, I'm assuming that because you're the artist, you had a big inspiration into Venom's look. Talk to me about that process. What were you trying to achieve? Because honestly, and maybe I'm just going to say it, he's one of the best looking guys out there in the comics. He's cool, for lack of a better word.
He is cool. I look at it when you're doing comic books. It's all you're going for, right? The cool factor, the badass factor. I was coming off a run on the Incredible Hulk and was looking to draw another book. And so I went into the Spider-Man office and they said, "Hey, we got an opening on Amazing Spider-Man. We'd love to have you on there." And I looked at it, and at that time, Peter Parker was in this black costume, right? And it was a remnant of this miniseries called Secret Wars. And it was something that was taking place in Big Cosmic Story. Anyways, I looked at it and I went, "Is Peter Parker in a black costume?" And I went, "Yeah." And I go, "Okay, I'm not going to draw that." I was just coming from the Hulk, and I was drawing him as the Gray Hulk instead of the Green Hulk. So I was like, "When do I get to draw the traditional superheroes?" So I just went, no, I really have an interest in drawing Spider-Man in a black costume. It doesn't make any sense to me. Spider-Man's red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. And I sat with the editor and he goes, man, I'd really like to have you. And I go, well, why don't we just get rid of the black costume? Here's a simple answer. Get rid of the black costume. But they said editorial really liked the black costume for some reason. They had some input into the Secret Wars. So then it was like, they didn't really want to get rid of it. So the answer was, well, solution number two, why don't we just take the costume off Peter Parker and shove it on something else? Problem solved, right? I mean, that's all I was trying to do, was trying to get Peter Parker back to a red and blue costume. The byproduct of it ends up being, I gave him some drawings and said, hey, look it, I'll just take the symbiote costume. I knew it was some kind of alien. So I go, I'll make it a monster. I mean, I knew it was alive, so I knew it was alien, not necessarily a monster at that point, but it was alive. And so I gave him these designs of like this big hulking, what I thought was like an alien creature. And they signed off and they went, yeah, cool. And then we gave that information to the writer, David McFarlane, and he came back and said, hey, I'm going to make him Eddie Brock. And at that point, like, Eddie Brock, also, like, Eddie Brock's a human being. If I would have known he was human, I would have drawn him differently. So, but given that I'd been doing the Hulk, I went, if you can go from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, we can go from Eddie Brock to Venom. So everybody liked the design anyway. So we just ended up keeping it. And David McFarlane was then tasked with basically coming up with a story that sort of fit both the character. I don't even know when the name came up at that point. So if you think that David and I knew what we were doing, absolutely not. If we had any idea that the character is going to be that big, we would have made 10 more characters that were that big, right? So sometimes things just happen, and time sort of becomes a factor. And next thing you know, you and I are talking about some billion-dollar success.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how that stuff works out, but it does look great. You know, the teeth, the tongue is my favorite part.
The tongue, I will give credit where credit's due. The tongue is, tip my hat to Eric Larson. Eric Larson came on Spider-Man after me, and was the one that really sort of got into the tongue itself. I'm not a big proponent of giant tongues as a whole, because I don't think they're scary, right? They sort of remind me of Gene Simmons and my dog when he runs too much. So I don't know if I had a bad guy in front of me go, Todd, that I'd be overly scared. You know, you bare your fangs at me, right? Like a rabid dog. Shoot. Now I'm
combining the tongue and teeth combined. I think that's
the
bear trap. It's just a big giant bear trap. Yep.
Now you got something. Okay, settle the debate, because I know collectors out there are watching. When was Venom's first appearance? Because this is kind of for some strange reason that seems to be disputed. Is it?
Yeah. So I'll give it to you because I was there. The very first issue I did was issue 298. And at the end of 298, there was this little sort of, what I always thought was sort of the first appearance of him. There was this little strip on the last page of 298. Eventually, they somehow re-changed it, because there was a little bit at the end of 298 and a little bit at the end of 299 leading into this big anniversary book, 300. It was this double-sized issue that has now gone down, has the origin of Venom. And now when you look at the comics buyer's guide and all the book, they list 298 and 299 as cameos. And that the first appearance is 300, although there's a big splash page at the end of 299. So it's a heck of a cameo. But for years and years, 298 was the book. And then they decided to flip it, because all of a sudden the price of 300 started going up, and I was like, why is it going up? Why is it going up so much? And it was, because it's the Venom origin. So
okay, so if you're a collector, just collect them
whoever
all.
argues 298 is right in a clinical sense, the industry now, for whatever reason, is calling it cameos with first appearance 300. So you make up your mind what all that means.
right, let's switch to the movie for a second because I like Tom Hardy as an actor. I think he does some really interesting things, and like once again doing it with Eddie and Venom. But for your eyes, the look. Did they get the look right? I mean, I think so. I mean, if I'm going to give my personal opinion, I mean, we saw him in Spider-Man. Was it 3? Topher Grace. A little lukewarm on my end. What's your take on this iteration?
I know I did some interviews when the first Venom movie came out, and that was really sort of what I was looking for, given that I'm sort of the visual creator, right? David McFarlane was the one that had to give the backstory and everything. I thought that the Topher Grace one wasn't as imposing as it could be. I intentionally created Venom in the comic books to be massive, and the reason for it was twofold. One, big guys just look cool on pages, right? Boom, done. And I was coming off the Hulk, and he looks really cool when he's standing next to everybody because he's the biggest guy in the room. But from a sort of a geek story point of view, most of the supervillains that Spider-Man fights are humans or human form, and they're about sort of the same size as him. So to me, visually, you're basically going, here's hero, here's villain, boom, boom, they clash. And so there's a method to beating up somebody who looks like you. But if all of a sudden I say, oh, no, Peter, you're not going to fight the human. I'm going to put you in a ring and you got to go against a rhinoceros, right? The punch to the face might not work like it was doing against the humans. So once you basically change the scale of something, to me, you change the fighting methodology. And so I just wanted to put some pressure on the writer, David McFarlane, and go, okay, David, he's not going to be able to just do the same stuff. Boom, because he's a giant. Boom, go. Figure out now how he's going to beat the giant. And to me, it just sort of adds variety to the comic books you're reading, given that at that point there are 3 different Spider-Man comic books coming out every month.
Yeah, absolutely. And it
so
works.
it's a geeky reason, right? It doesn't have to make any sense. It was just a geeky reason.
Well, it worked. All right, final question, and maybe this is just pie in the sky, and maybe you don't really have an answer, but I'm going to age myself as well, because I grew up in a time when the team up in comics was a big thing. I don't know. It was kind of cheesy sometimes, a little cliche.
No, the team up books. Yeah, I like
them. Seeing them, especially when it's 2 companies coming together and you got them. Spawn, Batman. Come on. I have those. I love those. Venom, Spawn seems, I mean, hello, that seems like a no-brainer to me. Is this, am I the only one that's thinking this?
You know what? I've had that conversation with the high echelons at Marvel.
Yes.
It's just a matter of trying to find the time. But I don't think it's, I don't think it's Spawn Venom. I think it's Spawn Spidey, because I made my reputation doing Spidey. So it would be Spawn Spidey, but one of the bad guys, or one of the sort of jeopardy of the story would have to include Venom. Then absolutely. So then we'd get basically all of it. We'd get all the things that I'm known for people who followed my career all in one sitting. Because if I did Spawn Venom, then I'd have to squeeze in Spidey, but we got to get Spidey in there, because people have been waiting for me to come back to him for 30 years too. So I
will start the petition. I'll pressure the big wigs.
Yeah, well, it's not well, you got petition for time, because that's all that's holding me back. Because I want to make sure that I take my time and do it right. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Todd, I can't thank you enough for your time today. Hopefully next time we chat, we'll be talking about another movie about Spawn.
Yeah, hopefully first half of next year we'll make a big announcement on that one, where everybody's pushing in the same direction for it. So, and if we could have half the success of Venom, then I will go to my grave with a smile. So
amazing. All right, well, Todd, I'm going to leave this interview with a smile. Thank you so much for your time. Well, that's going to do it for another episode, everybody. My thanks to the WatchMojo Lady herself, Rebecca Brayton, as always, for joining in and bringing the fun. And Todd McFarlane for all his inside knowledge and scoops. We appreciate that. And hey, we also appreciate you for watching and listening. Let us know what you think. Drop it in the comments. Till next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood. Poppin the Culture.